All right, lesson 25, solution of equations. Show all your steps. Okay, 4x plus 5 equals 17. So you guys, we have two sides of the equations. I sometimes draw this line. You do not have to, all right? I'm just showing the sides of the equations. The goal is to isolate x. You have to do the 4 last, all right? So always like add or subtract, get rid of that other piece first. So if I want to get rid of this plus 5, what do I do, everyone? Yeah, great job. Minus 5 from both sides. So it cancels here. I have 4x left over, and I like to write it right here. Put my equal sign. 17 minus 5 is 12. Your work should look exactly like mine, except you don't have to draw that line if you don't want to, the dashy line. All right? And now what do I do to get the x by itself, everyone? Yeah, I'm going to divide both sides by 4. 4 divided by 4 is 1, so this is just 1x. And 12 divided by 4 is 3. Boom. All right. 2/5 x minus 3/10 equals 1/2. Hold on. I want to see if there's another fraction one. There is. Okay. I'm going to show you two ways to do the fractions, okay? You can either clear the fractions or you can just solve it with fractions. You do you. I'm going to show you both ways, and then you can choose, okay? So I'm going to do it like the way you're probably used to. All right. Do I want to get rid of the 2/5 or the negative 3/10 first? Yes. How do I get rid of a minus 3/10? Yes, we got to do the opposite. We're going to add 3/10 to both sides so that it cancels here. And on the left-hand side, we're left with 2/5 x. Then I have my equal sign. All right, and now I have to add 1/2 and 3/10. I need a common denominator. What's my common denominator? All right, so I'm going to make this out of 10. I got to times by 5 over 5. That gives me 5/10 plus 3/10, which is 8/10. Yes, you could reduce that. All right. Now I've got 2/5 x. What do I need to do to get rid of the 2/5, everyone? Ooh, I would not actually divide. You could, yeah, multiply by the reciprocal. If you do divide, it's technically correct, but you would still copy dot flip on the right side when you divide a fraction. So it's better to just multiply by 5/2 on both sides and multiply by 5 over 2. Because the 2 over 2 cancels and the 5 over the 5 cancels, and you get x. All right, right here, the 5 and the 10 can cross cancel right here. You could also cancel the 8 and one of the 2's, whichever one you want. So I'm going to do 8 divided by 2 is 4, and 2 divided by 2 is 1. So you get 4. Oh, I can cancel again. Boom. Okay, that and that. So I have 2 over 1, which is 2. Or you could multiply straight across and divide at the end. Okay, whatever you prefer. All right, here's another fraction one. I'm going to do fraction busting on this one, okay? So don't get too far ahead of me in your work, because try it this way. It's kind of cool, all right? Okay, first we do need to make this improper. 4 times 2 plus 1. So that's 8 plus 1. This would be 9/4 x plus 3/7 equals 5/14. This is called clearing fractions or fraction busting. What we need is a number that 14, 7, and 4 all go into. Yep. Start with the biggest number and then double it, like do multiples of 14 until all the numbers go in. Okay, so 28 would be a great one to multiply by. So what I'm going to do is actually multiply this entire equation by 28. And what is super cool is it cancels the fractions first, and then you only have whole numbers, so it's much quicker if you do it this way. All right, so everyone, what is 28 divided by 4? Okay, so it's 7, and then I'm going to multiply by 7. I don't know if it's better if I show you guys. I'm going to do it this way, actually, just because some people are going to get confused, and I just want to show you. So we're going to actually, I'm going to write a little 28 next to each piece, because I would be distributing it when I had it in parentheses. You're not multiply everything by 28, okay? So 4 goes into 28 7 times. Then these multiply, the 7 and the 9. So I get 63x. Notice I have no fraction. Yay! All right. Then I do 28 divided by 7. So divide first. What's 28 divided by 7? Okay, it is 4. Then you multiply to the 3 right here. That gives you plus 12. All right. Then do 28 divided by 14. What's that? Then multiply 2 times 5 is 10. Okay, that's called clearing fractions. Now we just solve it the normal way, right? Where I'm going to subtract 12 from both sides. Ooh, I didn't have to deal with a negative fraction. I mean, that's super nice. I get -2. Weird. Okay. And then I divide by 63 on both sides. So my answer is negative 2 over 63. So I could have solved with fractions. It would have been a pain. So this is faster. Always a good idea. Now I'm going to show you both ways with decimals, okay? I'm going to do the same thing. We'll solve this one with decimals, and the next one I'm going to clear the decimals, which I recommend doing. All right, but let's try this one without clearing. Okay, notice the x is on the right-hand side, so I'm trying to isolate the x over here. What's the first thing I need to get rid of? Yeah, so we're going to add 1.4, and we're going to add 1.4. That gives me 2.6. And over here, I have 20x. Then I have to divide both sides by 20. And I'm like, that looks super not fun. 2.6 divided by 20. All right, so we'll just move this decimal up. Remember, that's what we do. Okay, a little division because we got to get a decimal. How many times is 20 going to 26? Once. We subtract the 20. I get a 6. There is technically a 0 here. Okay, you can bring that down. How many times is 20 going to 60? All right, so I get 0.13. All right, so that's solving with decimals. Now let's try clearing decimals, which I think is better. All right, so write this down. 0.7x minus 0.4 equals negative 0.16. Okay, in order to clear decimals, you have to multiply by either 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000. It depends on how many spots you need to move the decimal the most. Kira. Yes. So this one, the most spots we need to move it is 2. Okay? These only need to move 1, but this one has to move 2. You need to go with whichever one is the most, all right? So I need to multiply this entire thing by 100. Okay, why did I pick 100? Because I need to move it 2 spots, and 100 has 2 zeros. All right? If you only need to move it 1 spot, you do 10, because that's 1 0. All right? So now I do 100 times 0.7. This moves the decimal 2 spots. So I get 70x. And then this moves the decimal 2 spots here. So I get minus 40. It's super nice because I'm getting rid of the decimals. All right, and then over here, I move the decimal 2 spots, and I get negative 16. Okay, now I just solve it. How you guys know how to solve it. So I'm going to add 40 to both sides. All right, so this is 40 minus 16, which is 24. And then I have 70x. And I divide by 70. Okay, that reduces at least to 12 over 35. Does that reduce anymore, you guys? Nope. All right, and you could put this in decimal form if you wanted to. I'm going to leave it like this as a fraction, okay? All right, let's try some whiteboards.